Welcome to Flick Point. Today, I'll showcase The Intouchables, a 2011 biographical comedy drama film. One night in Paris, Driss chauffeurs his employer Philippe. Bored in traffic, Driss defies speed limits, skillfully maneuvering, disregarding signs. This prompts cops to tail him, and Driss confidently bets €100 to elude them. Under a bridge, police ambush from both sides, but unfazed, Driss ups the stakes to €200, sure he can secure an escort. Forced out of the car, officers are met with Driss's theatrical defense, explaining Philippe's urgent medical situation. Discovering a wheelchair in the trunk validates Driss's claim. Approaching Philippe, they witness his feigned convulsions, adding to the elaborate act. Acknowledging the emergency, cops pardon Driss, volunteering as escorts to the hospital. Triumphant, Driss cranks up September by Earth, Wind, and Fire, celebrating with Philippe once officers exit. Arriving at their destination, Driss and Philippe indulge in a post-chase smoke, savoring the triumph without the watchful eyes of the police. Driss assures Philippe that he has everything under control, deftly dodging hospital staff just before potential detection. This camaraderie began several months ago. In the quest for a new caregiver, Philippe and his assistant Magali conduct interviews. However, the process hits a snag as applicants provide either mundane or awkward responses to their queries. A pleasant surprise unfolds when Driss barges in, disregarding his scheduled turn. He seeks signatures on papers, ensuring they won't hire him, a move to secure unemployment benefits. Despite Philippe finding him entertaining, Driss is candid and slightly disrespectful, even making advances on Magali. Philippe requests his return the next day with the signed documents. Driss retreats to his modest neighborhood, attempting a bath amid the irritation caused by his younger siblings. Only with the assistance of his older sister Mina does he manage to complete the task in time. While awaiting their mother's arrival, Driss gazes out the window and observes his brother Adama emerging from a dubious car. When Adama enters the apartment, claiming he was at school and swiftly leaving after grabbing his bag, Driss becomes increasingly convinced he's involved in something suspicious. In the evening, their mom arrives, and Adama presents her with a pilfered Fabergé egg, fabricating a tale about a vacation when questioned. Despite the gift, she's displeased, having not heard from him during his 6-month disappearance. His sudden return, treating her home like a hotel, leads her to dismiss him, instructing him not to return. Driss spends the night indulging in a snacks with neighborhood friends. The following day, he returns to Philippe's house for his papers, greeted by the housekeeper Yvonne. She acquaints him with the place, detailing Philippe's daily routine and showing him the room, complete with a personal bathroom. Unable to resist staring at the bathtub, Driss is eventually ushered to Philippe, who not only provides the signed document, but extends a job offer. Driss agrees to the 1-month trial, and Philippe bets he won't last 2 weeks. After settling into his room, Driss learns the intricacies of caring for Philippe, stimulating his legs, placing him in the wheelchair, aiding in showering and changing clothes. Awkwardness arises when Driss discovers tasks like donning high stockings and assisting with bathroom hygiene, but despite initial protests, he begrudgingly accepts them as part of the job. Later in the evening, while enjoying a snack on the roof, Driss encounters Philippe's daughter Elisa and her boyfriend Bastien seeking a private spot. Refusing to share his beer, Driss promptly kicks them out. Adjusting swiftly to Philippe's daily routine, Driss, despite initial errors like handing the phone to Philippe instead of placing it on his ear or forgetting the baby monitor during bath time, learns from his mistakes. He becomes adept at organizing Philippe's mail into various folders, diligently opening most letters for him while respecting the privacy of a select few. Upon stumbling upon a flyer for female escorts, Driss opts to start a separate file for such materials instead of discarding them, contrary to Philippe's advice. Amid the responsibilities, Driss ensures some enjoyment in his new life. Despite continuous attempts to woo Magali proving futile, he occasionally engages escorts to accompany him in bed. One morning, Yvonne discovers potentially dangerous weapons in Driss's bag, but refrains from commenting on them for the time being. Driss's task for the day is chauffeuring Philippe, but he refuses to treat him like cargo in the back of a van, opting for a seldom-used luxurious car instead. Initially resistant, Philippe warms up to the idea of a faster, more exciting ride. However, Yvonne remains disapproving. Exiting the building, they encounter a neighbor parked at the forbidden entrance, ignoring the sign. Driss swiftly confronts the individual, grabbing him and issuing a stern warning until he moves the car. While Philippe is impressed by Driss's assertiveness, Yvonne once again expresses disapproval. Right to Magali, claiming privacy, Yvonne turns off the baby monitor, revealing that Philippe is pen pals with Eleanor, the letters Driss couldn't open. Their relationship is purely through letters, never meeting in person. Driss playfully teases Yvonne about the gardener's looks before bedtime. Attempting to sleep, Driss hears odd sounds from the baby monitor, Philippe struggling to breathe. Unable to ignore it, Driss guides him through the attack with soothing words and a wet cloth. Philippe falls asleep, only to wake up needing air. Driss promptly puts him in the wheelchair, covering him with blankets for a stroll by the river. This is Philippe's first time seeing Paris at night in a while. Relaxed, he shares that medicine has limitations, occasionally causing phantom pain. Philippe confesses his incapacity to pleasure a woman due to his condition, but finds satisfaction in ear massages. When phantom pain looms again, Driss shares a joint with Philippe, initially skeptical but ending up loving it. Afterward, they joke around at a restaurant, and Philippe opens up about his past, meeting his wife during student days, experiencing 5 miscarriages after marriage, and being diagnosed with an incurable terminal illness. They adopted Elisa after Philippe's passion for competitions, extreme sports, and speed led him to paragliding. A crash during a session, caused by bad weather, resulted in a broken vertebrae. Despite using a wheelchair, Philippe believes his true handicap is living without his wife. After more banter, Philippe realizes Driss has successfully did his 1-month trial and is officially hired. However, the first task is to return the stolen Fabergé egg, a yearly gift from his late wife, totaling 25 eggs matching their time together. The next day, Driss talks to Mina, who's offended by his lack of response to messages except to ask about the egg. She mentions cops calling their home. He then visits Adama, confessing he was found with 30 grams. Driss suggests lunch, but Adama declines, opting for the same suspicious car as before. Later, Driss assists Philippe in dictating a letter to Eleanor. Finding the prose dull, Driss suggests a more direct approach, surprised to learn this has been ongoing for 6 months without picture exchange. Discovering Eleanor's, Driss takes it as a sign, calling her and prompting Philippe to speak beyond written words. The conversation goes well, leading Philippe to engage with Eleanor frequently, even during an opera attended by Driss, who can't help but laugh and poke fun at the costumes. The following day, Driss persuades Philippe to agree to exchange pictures with Eleanor, selecting one of him in the wheelchair. While painting, Elisa interrupts, mocking his artistic attempts. Annoyed, Driss kicks her out before discussing the picture choice with Philippe, who is currently asking Yvonne to switch it for one of him not in a quadriplegic state. Yvonne hides the chosen picture in the escort file just before Driss bursts in, complaining about Elisa and urging Philippe to discipline her, an idea Yvonne supports. Philippe agrees to talk to her, but is taken aback when Driss inadvertently reveals his newfound interest in painting. As days pass, the bond between Philippe and Driss deepens. They play in the snow, go for runs, and Philippe provides Driss with his first suit. Driss listens to Philippe scolding his daughter through the baby monitor. When Driss completes his first painting, he shows it to Magali, who reacts with a slap when he attempts a kiss. However, Philippe appreciates the artwork and vows to try selling it. The two friends enjoy various activities, such as upgrading to a faster car, sharing joints, and even hiring escorts together. Philippe's birthday arrives, but he's not enthusiastic. Each year, he feigns surprise at the party, meeting relatives who only visit on this occasion to ensure he's still alive. Philippe anticipates it to be rather dull. During the celebration with live classical music, Driss searches for Elisa, who's upset after taking some of Yvonne's pills, which weren't lethal as she expected. Distraught over a breakup and hurtful words from Bastien, she asks Driss to talk to him, and he agrees for a price. During the event, Philippe showcases Driss's painting to a relative, successfully persuading him to purchase it for 11,000 euros. Returning to the dining room, Driss engages in conversation with Yvonne, learning that Magali is currently in a rocky relationship with someone named Fred, giving Driss a glimmer of hope. As the party winds down, Philippe introduces Driss to significant songs in classical music history, but Driss responds with humor. When the band finishes, Driss brings out his iPod, playing Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind & Fire, before breaking into a dance in the middle of the floor. His exceptional dancing persuades others to join, creating a lively atmosphere that Philippe enjoys. Later, while putting Philippe to bed, Driss opens Eleanor's latest letter, discovering her picture and an invitation to meet in Paris the following week. On the appointed day, Yvonne and Driss help Philippe choose the perfect outfit for the occasion. With Yvonne accompanying Philippe, Driss uses his day off to visit Bastien, convincing him to apologize to Elisa, bring her croissants daily, and fix his hair. Afterwards, Driss visits his mother's workplace from a distance. At the restaurant, Yvonne and Philippe wait for Eleanor, who arrives very late. After an hour of waiting, Philippe gives up, calls Driss to pick him up, and leaves without noticing Eleanor arriving simultaneously. That night, Philippe takes Driss in his private plane and gifts him the money earned from selling the painting, bringing immeasurable joy to Driss. The next morning, they venture into the countryside, and Philippe decides to go paragliding, convincing Driss to join him. Initially resistant, Driss ends up enjoying the experience after overcoming his initial fear. Upon returning home, Adama awaits Driss and faces a scolding upon revealing scars on his face. Adama remains tight-lipped about his life, prompting Driss to call Mina, reassure her, and then attend to putting Philippe to bed. However, Philippe isn't ready to sleep yet. After sharing a painting with Driss, Philippe inquires about his family. Initially hesitant, Driss eventually opens up, revealing that Adama isn't his biological brother, and his parents are actually his aunt and uncle. They brought him from Senegal at 8 due to infertility, and his real name is Bakari Bassari, renamed Idris for uniqueness. His aunt conceived miraculously, leading to more children after his uncle's death. Following their conversation about Elisa, Philippe points out that Adama needs discipline. Consequently, Driss is fired so he can be with his family, as Philippe acknowledges that he can't spend his entire life caring for an old man. The following morning, after Bastien brings the daily croissant with a better hairdo, Driss prepares to leave. Magali bids farewell, and when Driss attempts one last flirtation, Magali introduces him to her significant other Fred, revealing her disinterest in men. Driss accepts the situation and moves on. As he departs from the house, Driss returns the baby monitor to Yvonne, playfully teasing her for fabricating stories about Magali just to play with him. In response, she hands him the escort file he initiated, disappointing him as the chosen picture is hidden there. Driss discards the file, but keeps the photo for himself. Outside, he encounters a car blocking the entrance and requests its removal, emphasizing it's a matter of principle when Adama questions him. A few hours later, the brothers pick up their mother at the station. Meanwhile, back at the house, Philippe dines with his new, dull caretaker, deciding to leave without taking a bite. With Yvonne on a date, there's no one to scold him for this act of defiance. In the following days, Driss reverts to his previous lifestyle, reconnecting with old friends and instructing the suspicious car guys not to hassle Adama. During a job interview where he lacks sufficient experience, Driss impresses the employer by portraying himself as pragmatic and utilizing art knowledge gained from working for Philippe, securing a job as a driver. Philippe remains displeased with his new caretaker, perpetually in a sour mood. One night, Philippe refuses assistance for his phantom pain, prompting Yvonne to call Driss for help. This leads to the situation from the beginning, with the cops chasing and later escorting them to the hospital. Following this adventure, Driss takes Philippe to the coast, where the sight of the sea helps calm him. Later, Driss tends to Philippe's overgrown beard and accompanies him to a restaurant for lunch. However, Driss doesn't stay, as someone else will be Philippe's companion for the day. Driss wishes him luck, returns the Fabergé egg, and leaves. Philippe initially worries about being alone until Eleanor arrives, delighted to see him and unfazed by the wheelchair. In reality, the actual Count Philippe Pozzo de Borgo now resides in Morocco, having remarried and welcomed 2 daughters. The real Driss, named Abdel Yasmin Selou, runs his own firm, is married, and has 3 children. Remarkably, the 2 men continue to maintain a close and enduring friendship to this day. This heartwarming connection showcases the lasting impact of their shared experiences.